Hi everyone, my name is Mike Wagner. I'm the CEO of LiteGear, and we're here to talk about Ford versus Ferrari.
You need a pure racer behind the wheel of your car. That's Ken Miles.
And we have our own Mike Bauman here, who is the gaffer on the film. Hey Mike.
How are you?
I'm doing good.
Excellent.
Now, one of the most interesting locations was this pit row that I believe you shot at Agua Dulce Airport. Is that right? Can you tell me about that?
The pit row thing was interesting. It was basically a set built from scratch. They took over the Agua Dulce Airport for several months and used the runways as the racetrack, and then created a 400-foot long, 3-story set pit row with all of the individual pits stations for the different teams, and then spectator standing, and there was lots of like news booths and stuff in there, and it was a very impressive set of huge construction. So that had several hundred fixtures in it, which all needed to be controlled so we could set levels and make adjustments. In addition, we would shoot that set at day, and because of the restrictions at that particular place, we had to stop filming at 10 p.m. at night. So we only had a couple of hours each night to shoot night. Since it's a 24-hour race, there's a huge part of the movie where they race at night. We had several condors that would have 360s and movers on them. We also had a sequence where it was raining, rain towers. And then there was also a tremendous amount of blue screen. So it was a lot of creation of this world, a lot of it through light, as far as like creating depth and putting sources way deep in the frame so it looked like something was going on back there.
Suppose Henry Ford II wanted to build the greatest race car the world's ever seen.
So in this particular scene, there was a challenging lighting this scene where we have all this light coming in through these huge windows. How did you set up this lighting scheme?
So this was the Ford factory, which was shot at a large warehouse in downtown LA. There's a lot of challenges because it was a very large space, and we were shooting this scene in September, so the actual ambient daylight was very short. When Fade and I were looking at it was, how do we have lighting consistency there throughout the day? The other side of those windows happened to be another business which had working trucks, and so they only allowed us the parking lane to construct something in there. So what we ended up doing for the windows was getting a custom version of light tile made, which was in 10 by 10 panels. And the rigging key grip, a guy named Matt Floyd, created a 40-foot by 60-foot box that attached to the back of to those windows, creating a big soft box. So we ended up putting the light tile as a complete wall of light, and then diffusing it with I thought it was a light grid that was in between there. So that way we could set the intensity of the windows so they weren't too blown out, and we could also do things like set different color temperatures for different areas of the windows. And it worked out great because we ended up shooting like 14 or 15 hours that day, and so to be able to go in there and have consistent light in that direction was really critical. There was also a long area of additional other windows that we had taken some smaller versions of that, some 5 by 10 light tiles, and then some M90s, and pushed those in so we could get some direction to the light but still have the windows lit with some ambience. Inside, we had a series of fluorescent fixtures and other practicals that were used to have in the frame, and so those were great light sources for a lot of the things on the cars. And then in the ceiling, we added about a dozen of the high-end solar frames that we could use to pick out little parts of the set. And it allowed them to really shoot any direction. So there's some pretty big shots in there, steady cams through the space, and really seeing the environment. But having that entire wall to control and set a level on, and have that consistently and still fit into this, basically we had about 8 feet off the back of those windows. So to be able to illuminate that evenly from top to bottom worked out really great.
And how long did you tell them that you needed? 200, 300 years?
90 days.
Can you tell us a little bit about how you lit that scene?
Yeah, it was a practical location. It was a diner, a small diner, and it's a scene where the two of them are talking next to a window. It was an interesting challenge because, there were these hanging fixtures within the frame, but we needed to have kind of more of a generic light source, but still have some direction to it. So there was a small alcove next to the window that we ran about a 20-foot section of light ribbon on. You wouldn't be able to see it from camera, but it provided a very long, even source that would light both the actors. So they could run multiple cameras, and I think we were shooting in both directions at the same time. So they could perform and still have some direction on the face, and then we would augment on close-ups with a little bit of a softer source that's kind of to bring out the eyes.
Do you think you can beat Ferrari?
I can try.
We're lighter, we're faster.